Hey, so I'm Pobbies, and recently I made my own fursuit head, and I decided I would make a short video discussing some tips and advice that I feel like many experienced fursuit makers overlook when they're making tip videos, since it's fresh on my mind, and I can easily talk about what I encountered and how I fixed things. So yeah. I know it's not the best, and I know there's a lot of flaws in it, but I think it came out pretty well. For my first time, like, obviously there's crooked teeth and the eyes are kind of lopsided, but, you know, I like how it came out. So, I think I can maybe give some helpful advice for those who are starting to make their first fursuit head. Okay, so first of all, if you start making it, start foaming it and everything, if things don't look right, if you're not happy with it, don't be afraid to start over. You'll regret it if you don't take it on early and fix it. It might end up looking a lot worse later on. And also, whenever you're cutting out foam to put around your head, you know, as a base, if you're using that method, make sure you measure out about like an inch or an inch and a half more than what you measured your head to be, because depending on the size, the thickness of the foam that you're using, that'll take up, you know, say my head is 24 inches around, and when I first cut out a base for my head, I didn't add on extra length, so it was too small, and it would it stretched out over my head. And I'm glad that I went back and fixed that, because that would not be acceptable. So make sure when you're cutting out your foam to put around your head, you cut out more than what you need. You can always cut off some, but you can't really easily add any more to it. Also, when you're cutting the fur, make sure you dig your scissors to where the blade touches the backing. You don't want to cut like you're cutting paper. You want to dig your blade where it touches the backing, so there it won't cut the fur fibers as much. It probably still will, but it won't do it as much, because you're gonna get choppy fur if you just cut like it's paper. The most important thing, to me at least, because I ran into this issue and it was terrible, is when you're sculpting like where the eyes are gonna go, and just trying to generally get things symmetrical, you want to stop periodically, go to a mirror, stand about 3 feet away from the mirror. This way you can see your head from a different perspective, from a distance, and it helps you figure out, is this symmetrical? Because like, I did that and I realized one of my eyes was like way up here, and I hadn't started burring or anything yet, so I was able to fix that. But if I didn't do that, I would probably still have an eye way up there. So yeah, that's really helpful. And another thing, if you cut out foam eyebrows, make sure you cut out individual pieces of fur for those eyebrows, or else you're just gonna have like a continuous brow up here, and it's gonna look like a Neanderthal. I had that issue and I still have it, but luckily you can't really see it because of the hair. And another thing, don't try to take on ambitious, challenging techniques right away. Try to, do more simple techniques, because if you try to take on these really professional ways of doing things, you're probably going to be overwhelmed and you'll probably make it look bad, and that'll probably discourage you a lot. I preferred, doing simple methods, and I think that made it come out a lot better than trying to, do something way beyond my skill level. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. You're gonna learn. You can only improve from here. So, take your time with it. Make sure you do a good job with patterning. because that's probably the most important thing, honestly. Because, you know, if you don't cut out the fur right, you're gonna have places that are probably bald. You see the foam underneath. I have a few issues with that, but take your time on the patterning. It is the most important thing, I believe. Also, practice your sewing before you take this on. Try sewing a few pieces of fur or felt or something like that, some cheap fabric, because you don't want to have loose stitching or bad stitching. And if you need to, you can go over the seams with glue for now. You know, there's nothing wrong with making sure it's more, you know, sturdy and won't pull apart. All of my seams are covered in glue underneath. And make sure you invest in some good clippers, because my shaving's kind of bad, but I got some good clippers, so it could have been worse. And I don't feel like this needs to be said, but invest in, you know, good material. You don't make it out of paper or anything like that. That can be dangerous, and not only that, it just looks bad. And don't overwork yourself. If you get tired, step back from it, you know, wait a day or two, come back to it. You don't want to start getting reckless and start messing it up. And looking at it from a fresh perspective can help you figure out what you need to change and what you need to do next. And most of all, don't be too hard on yourself. This is your first one, and you know, you can only improve from here, like I said. And you know, appreciate like what you did. You created something. You did something you've never done before, and you know, you're not going to be the best right away. I think that's about it, but I cannot emphasize that mirror thing enough. Please, if you're making a fursuit head, make sure you check the mirror and stand back a little bit, because that saved this head. Like, I can't tell you how far the eye was, like, up in the air. Like, and I didn't see it when I was just looking at it straight on. I had to go to the mirror and see it. That makes so much difference. If you're making a head, please do that. I haven't seen anybody else mention that, so I thought I would definitely emphasize it, because it is so important to get a different perspective, because that shows you all of like your symmetry issues. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you took something from this, and like I said, you know, don't be too hard on yourself. This is your first one, and you're gonna get better and better. So yeah, I'm Pobbies. Make sure you follow me on like Instagram and deviantart and stuff, because most of the art I make is not posted here, and you can also see more pictures of the fursuit. So yeah, anyway, I hope you like this video, and yeah. And so recently I made my first fursuit head,